Welcome back to Wrestling Talk. I'm your host, Alexis Carrillo, and it is Christmas Eve. We gotta look forward to that. I hope that all of you are with your families, enjoying a great time. Of course, this is the holidays. You have to spend it with your family, spend it with your loved ones, and of course, be safe. But this is Wrestling Talk, so let's get into some wrestling. Because tonight, we've got the Christmas Eve edition of Friday Night SmackDown, and one of the things that I've been most looking forward to each and every single week, especially if this man is announced to be on the broadcast, to be on the show, is the Beast Incarnate Brock Lesnar. Because ever since he returned to WWE back at SummerSlam just a few months ago, he's been on quite a roll. He's been quite possibly the most entertaining he could be since his first debut in 2012, maybe competing up there with his 2014 run after he beat The Undertaker's undefeated streak at WrestleMania. But it is a great palate cleanser on the Beast Incarnate Brock Lesnar to see him as a babyface. Number one, we got to go past that and look at that segment he had with Sami Zayn. How he coerced him into having his Universal Championship match on an edition of Friday Night SmackDown. He coerced him physically, which is something you gotta love. That was something like brought to life out of a movie script onto a wrestling ring. And I love that from WWE, and I love that from Brock Lesnar. And you got to take into consideration, we have not seen Brock Lesnar as a babyface since mid 2003, since he turned heel against Kurt Angle, I believe, after SummerSlam that year. So it's been almost 18 years since we've seen Brock Lesnar as a fan favorite. And yeah, he's been in and out of WWE. He had that time in UFC. But again, WWE has made every great move, every right move possible in this rivalry between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. They have flipped the script. Because like I've said in the past, you can put Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns up against each other 10, 15, 20, 30 times, and if nothing changes other than the date, then it's going to be boring. It's going to be by the numbers, and the fans are going to get bored, and they're going to let you know. But if you do what they did, they flipped the script. Roman Reigns is the heel. He's not the big dog anymore. He's the tribal chief. He owns SmackDown. He's been Universal Champion, for almost 500 days. That's the Roman Reigns Brock Lesnar is facing now. And Brock Lesnar right now, he's a changed man. He's not the same man he was when he had Paul Heyman as an advocate. He's more comedic. It seems like he's having more fun in a WWE ring. It seems like that those several Claymore kicks he took from Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania in 2020 really knocked some sense into his brain, and now he's just living in the moment, making threats, and going through with them. Because last Friday night, he F5'd the hell out of Roman Reigns, and he beat the hell out of the Usos and the Bloodline. And that's the kind of rivalry, that's the kind of build-up you want on the road to day one. Now, do I think Brock Lesnar is going to defeat Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship on January 1st, 2022? Just 8 days from now. Pretty much 7-8 days from now. No. I don't think they're going to pull the trigger on that. It's too soon. I don't think they're going to end Roman Reigns' almost 500-day plus reign at day one. Even though it'd be historic, I think, and I've mentioned this in the past, I think the historic title change that's going to take place at day one is going to be Seth Rollins becoming WWE Champion, beating Big E in that fatal four-way match at that pay-per-view. I think that is the title change that WWE should go for, and they should hold back on Roman Reigns dropping the title until at least WrestleMania in April. And I already let you know that I want Drew McIntyre to main event that WrestleMania against Roman Reigns, and for Drew McIntyre to beat Reigns for that championship. I think that would be the best move, because Brock Lesnar at this point in his career, even though he's turned a new leaf and he's more entertaining than ever, I don't think Brock Lesnar needs a main championship. He doesn't need to be the world champion. Just put Brock Lesnar on the card. He's going to be the main event or close to the main event. That is the pedigree that Brock Lesnar has in WWE. So if you ask me, at WrestleMania, I put him up against Bobby Lashley. It's a match I've always wanted to see. It might be a little bit tricky because it seems like they might be churning towards Bobby Lashley becoming a babyface. And really, when you have Lashley versus Lesnar at the biggest stage of them all at WrestleMania, you want one of them to be the heel. And I don't want to get rid of Brock Lesnar as a babyface just yet. And also, I don't want Lashley to flip-flop from heel to face back to heel. I don't want that. So if it were up to me, I'd figure something out. But that would be part of my WrestleMania card. Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley in a match that everybody out there wants to see. They've been wanting to see that pretty much since Bobby Lashley made his debut in 2005. And Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre for the Universal Championship, closing out night 2 of WrestleMania in Dallas. That's what I want. But as far as Brock Lesnar tonight, if he shows up, I'm not sure if he's been announced officially for tonight's edition of SmackDown. I would hope that they would, because again, there's only 2 more editions of SmackDown before we get to day 1. And I want to say New Day so much. Day 1. But again, I'm just enjoying every time Brock Lesnar is on the screen. Like the fact that he had a flip phone, for God's sakes. And how he's threatening Adam Pearce. I mean, everything about Brock Lesnar right now on WWE TV is what I want from a part-timer. He shows up, he kicks some ass, he's entertaining, he makes you laugh, he gives you great moments, and then he leaves. And make no mistake about it. If Brock Lesnar doesn't win the Universal Championship at day 1, which again, there's no assurances, but if it were up to me, he would not win it, and I don't think he's going to win it. After that, he's going to be out until at least WrestleMania season. So again, he's a part-timer. And you already know my thought on part-timers. I don't want part-timers in the main event scene or in the World Championship scene, because that just wastes the championships. So that's my opinion. I love babyface Brock Lesnar right now. I'm not going to deny it. I love watching that. And I want more of that. And I want to know what you think about that. I want to know if you like that or if you prefer him to be more of a unstoppable monster that he used to be. So leave your thoughts, comments, and predictions on the comment section below. And speaking about day 1, speaking about upcoming WWE pay-per-view events, we got to talk about the Royal Rumble. Next year, January 29th, I believe, we're going to have ourselves yet another Royal Rumble pay-per-view, and more importantly, a Royal Rumble match. 2 Royal Rumble matches. The men's and the women's. Only this time, the fans are back. They are back, and you can bet your ass that every single time that timer counts down, what is it? All 56 of those times that timer counts down, the fans are going to be in it. Because fans love to be a part of the show. And that's what the Royal Rumble match brings to you, the fan. But the thing is, there have been reports currently on wrestling media websites that ticket sales for WWE events have not gone well. I mean, we can't look past the fact that just a few weeks ago, we had a Monday Night Raw in Long Island where the reported ticket sales were just over 5,000, almost 6,000 fans attended Monday Night Raw. They bought tickets to the event, which is normally good, which is normally acceptable. It makes it look. I mean, WWE has a perfect way of setting it up to make it look like a lot more like the arena is almost packed. But just a few days later, I believe, AEW ran that same arena. And AEW, with Dynamite, and I believe a Rampage taping, did have a lot closer to a packed place. They almost had to double the amount of fans. It was reported that they sold about 9,000 tickets for that event. Not to mention, AEW had hometown hero and scum of the earth, and he's better than you know it, MJF, on this show. Currently in the middle of his feud with former idol, CM Punk, so that's always gonna lure more fans in. And again, it was... I didn't look into if WWE had booked the arena before AEW or the other way around. I didn't look into that. But again, you present wrestling fans with that prospect. AEW or WWE 1 week apart, I believe, 1 week and a half apart. They're both running shows, and most fans out there only have enough money or enough resources or responsible enough in how they handle their resources to be, I'm going to pick one show, I'm going to go to one show, and it seems like they decided to go to Dynamite. It seems that way. Again, because AEW currently has a rivalry that people want to see, that is hot. CM Punk versus MJF. MJF being the hometown hero in Long Island. But WWE being WWE, they still sold tickets. They still sold almost 6,000 tickets when they had a big event coming up from a rival company. And that's just a company. That's just the machine that World Wrestling Entertainment is. And going back to the reports, it seems that WWE is sort of kind of having trouble selling tickets for the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, because they have been advertising 2-for-1 tickets for that event. But here's the thing, here's the catch. It's not unlimited. It's not like, okay, from here until the night of the event, until Royal Rumble, the end of January, tickets are 2-for-1. That way we can sell out the arena, easy peasy. Fans get a break. And it's not that. It's not that. As far as I know, that was only for a few days. 2-for-1. As far as I know, that was a promotion offer for the holidays, which is great marketing on WWE's part. So I don't fault them for that. I know a lot of wrestling fans out there that hate WWE, and I just don't get that. Want to spin this and be like, oh, WWE can't sell out tickets anymore. And WWE is just 2-for-1 this, 2-for-1 that, and hoping and begging to God that they sell out the arena some way, somehow. I know wrestling fans out there want that, because WWE is a machine. They are number one, and they will not be brought down anytime soon. And I get it, that's hard to hear. But again, the WWE is the machine. They get what they want. It's the empire. You might have underdogs coming up, like WCW, like TNA, like AEW. It's proven in the past, WWE always comes out on top. And I have no doubts as to the Royal Rumble, the pay-per-view, is going to have a packed arena, because again, it's a fan service event. It's the beginning of the road to WrestleMania. People want to see that. People want to be there. So again, wrestling fans who hate or dislike WWE are going to spend that in their way. I think WWE is just fine. They do need to really build up some hot storylines. But other than that, they're fine. They're fine. It's WWE. But what do you think? Leave your thoughts, comments, and predictions below. Do you think WWE is going to sell out the arena? Do you think WWE has problems with selling tickets? go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. And speaking about AEW, this past week, well, just a week ago, it was, of course, the first ever National Hook Day. Man, how this kid, because he is just a kid, and as far as I know, he has his son, as far as I know, as far as I've understood. Man, has this kid really accumulated a cult following amongst wrestling fans. Because last week at Rampage, hardcore wrestling fans just couldn't wait for his debut. And he faced off against Fuego del Sol. It's kind of hard. I can say it in Spanish when I'm in this American accent. It's a lot easier to butcher it. But Fuego del Sol. And he beat Fuego del Sol. That's a better way of saying it. He showed quite a few veteran-like instincts, but he is quite green. And they didn't put him up against a bigger name opponent because, again, Hook needed his debut to be a win. And Fuego del Sol can take it. He can take it. Come on. It's Fuego del Sol. He's a great fan favorite, but he is a losing fan favorite so far. That's the way he's been booked. But everything from Hook, from his entrance, from the look, from the way he handled himself in that ring, it didn't seem like he got tired or he got exhausted. It seemed like he just got in there. He got in there to kick some ass. Fuego del Sol put up a bit of a fight, but it never seemed like Hook was in any danger of losing the match. It didn't seem like Hook was worried at all. And he proved it. Like 2, 3, 4 minutes into the match, he just made him tap out. No problem. And it's good. It's a great way to introduce Hook in that wrestling ring to the mainstream wrestling audience. What's going to happen when you put him up against guys and teams who have been out there for years and years and years. And again, I love the kid. I was a big fan of how he was presented to us at Rampage just a week ago. I was. But they've got to take it slowly with this kid. They really got to give us what they're doing right now, because up to this point, he's been a part of the group. He's been in the background. He's been doing stuff, not as much, but he's been doing certain things that remind me of The Rock in the Nation of Domination, where you had Farouk or D'Lo Brown or Mark Henry doing backstage segments, and The Rock just managed to get a little bit of attention and really give you a memorable moment. I think Hook has been doing that ever since he was introduced to us on AEW TV. But now, he's had a match. An official match. He is 1-0. And because of that, he can't go back to where he was. Now he has to continue to have matches and build up that momentum and get in trouble. And he's going to have to face off against bigger name rivals. And we'll see what the kid is made of. We'll see if fans stick with the kid. But up until now, Hook is, well, at least he's made a bigger, more impressive debut, first impression actually, than other stars I've seen in the past that I won't name right now. Okay? So with that said, what do you think? What did you think about Hook's debut? Did you enjoy it? Did you revel in it? Did you just worship at the feet of this kid ever since he walked out into that ring on Rampage? Will you do that again if he does it tonight? Leave your thoughts, comments, and predictions below. And it's time to get into a topic that, for the most part, wrestling talk should be positive. That's what you want out of social media. That's what you want out of debate. That's what you want out of fandom. You want it to be positive. You want it to be a great fan experience And the only way to do that is to talk about things in a positive manner, bring them up in a highly anticipated way. The issue with that, the biggest issue with that is Twitter. Twitter. Social media itself. Because not only are fans able to directly talk to companies, promoters, bookers, wrestlers, and other fans alike on social media, by tweeting, they are also able to send direct messages. And again, you do have the possibility of blocking someone who's just being an annoyance. You do. But it's also not really enjoyable to block someone unless you enjoy that type of things, which I don't. I mean, it's kind of a hassle to have to go through Twitter and try to live out the rest of your day, and then you have this one idiot coming at you, and you have to block him. You have to do that kind of negative stuff to someone you don't even know, to someone who on social media doesn't even give you a real picture, a real name. You don't even know if it's a 5-year-old kid, a 15-year-old kid, a 20-year-old kid, an 80-year-old man in his basement. You don't know that. You don't know that on social media. You don't. By the way, the social media handle on the bottom, at Alexis Carrillo, go ahead and follow me. That is my picture. That is my social media. If you want to follow me, go right ahead. I will not block you. Unless you're being a dick, then you will get blocked. But, again, fans become keyboard warriors sometimes. And I've done this in the past, but I've done this from my personal account. You know who I am. You know that's my personal private account that I am adding to a discussion. You know that. I've had times in the past where I put out an opinion out there, and then some Wrestling Phobia 1, where he has a picture, a profile pic of something other than his face on there, and I can't really tell who he is or what he is, like I said. Respond to me. And I have gotten into it in the past on social media, and I'm not proud of it because, again, it's a waste of time, it's a waste of energy, it really brings you down up here. But again, sometimes you get triggered. There's nothing you can do about that if you really get invested into their product, which I am. But one thing that has bothered me over the past few days, over the past few weeks, is this story that Sammy Guevara, the current TNT champion, has broken off his engagement with his allegedly former fiance, which just said Beyonce, former fiance. I think her name was Pam, just like The Office, Pam, who recently, a few months ago, Sammy Guevara proposed to in the middle of an AEW ring. That was a big touted moment for AEW on their social media. So fans attacked Sammy Guevara on social media, and not only that, there have been a lot of pics and videos involving Sammy Guevara and Ty Conti. And fans blame Ty Conti for their breakup. They think something happened between Guevara and Ty Conti, and Guevara broke off his engagement because of Ty Conti. And let me put it like this. You're a wrestling fan. You care about wrestling. You care about the product. You care about the show that you watch on TV. You care about the stars you watch on TV. But let me get this out there. Let me get this straight. As far as their personal lives are concerned, unless it's their overall health, which I never want to talk about, but I have in the past, Roman Reigns' unfortunate battle with leukemia a few years ago. That's completely different. But when it comes to their social life, to their relationships, and they breaking up, I think I and you, as a wrestling fan, should not care enough to try and badger someone on social media to the point that she deletes her Twitter account. That is not our job as a wrestling fan. It's not. Our fan is to enjoy the product we see on TV, positive or negative. We can criticize that, we can hate on that as much as we want. But if you want to badger and really make someone feel terrible, horrible on social media, someone you don't even know personally, someone who doesn't even know who you are, like I said, you could be someone and who's completely anonymous on social media attacking a public figure. That's not what fandom is about. That's not what you should do as a fan. And I get it. You could bring up the point that, oh, that's a public figure. They put themselves on TV. They owe themselves to the fans. And because they're public figures, this can happen to them and they should just accept it. Yeah. A little bit. But to everything there is a limit. And if you want to waste your time trying to make someone feel horrible, bad, like they don't deserve to be there anymore, and I'm sorry, you're a dick. You are a terrible human being. And you are a coward, because most of these people who are attacking these public figures, these professional wrestlers, these performers who perform for you week in and week out, most of these people hide behind a fake account, a fake name, and for the most part, I believe they're so bad people. They have no soul that they do that, and then they go back and eat ice cream and watch wrestling from their houses and just not do anything because they're creeps who like to stalk people and just worry about other people's social life and not about themselves. So if you're that kind of wrestling fan who's going to go out of their way to really just mind somebody else's business, somebody else's personal life, which is not your job, which is not something you should do, which is not something you're entitled to, then I feel sorry for you. You're petty. You're petty as hell. And I wish you nothing but the worst. I really do. But again, that's the IWC versus Twitter and IWC's way of using Twitter so far. So with that said, leave your thoughts, comments, and predictions on what might happen with social media in the future and how do you think we should handle that. Leave it on the comment section below, and hopefully we, as an internet wrestling community, become a better community, a better fan base for all the performers out there who are giving it their all week in and week out for us, the wrestling fans. And it's time to end this Wrestling Talk broadcast with a very big piece of news, a very unexpected piece of news. Because on January 8th, Impact Wrestling is going to have their Hard to Kill pay-per-view in Dallas, Texas. And I believe just yesterday they announced something that just came out of left field. It came out of nowhere. I saw this on social media. I saw the reactions that fans got. And it blew my mind a little. It really did. New Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion, newly crowned at last week's final battle, where he beat Jay Lethal in the main event. The definition of pure wrestling himself, Jonathan Gresham, is set to defend his Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship against Impact faithful, historic wrestler, 8 or 9 time X Division champion, former world champion, Chris Sabin, at the pay-per-view. Now this is historic because ever since 2002, ever since Ring of Honor was founded, and ever since Impact Wrestling was founded back in 2002, the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship has not been defended on an Impact pay-per-view, on an Impact show. We did have a former champion on Impact TV way back in 2002 with Loki. Although I'm not sure if he had the Ring of Honor title with him during the show, or of course he didn't defend it at that time. But this is just another way of Ring of Honor keeping that championship alive. It's just another way of Jonathan Gresham to keep defending his championship. He's been going around the independent scene defending the title here and there. He's got his upcoming promotion, Terminus, about or set to debut, I believe, next year. So he's got that to look forward to, and for all accounts and purposes, I think Jonathan Gresham is going to keep that championship until April, when hopefully Ring of Honor Wrestling resumes shows. But again, this is big news. There were rumors years ago that Impact and Ring of Honor might work together. There were rumors that Ring of Honor's parent company, Sinclair Broadcasting, was going to buy Impact Wrestling off of Dixie Carter back when they were really, really in trouble, back before Anthem ever took helm of the former TNA. There were those rumors, and Impact and Ring of Honor have worked together in the past, back in the beginning of their days. But since 2004, 2005, when TNA decided that they were going to be more mainstream, or they were going to be their own separate promotion, they cut ties and a rivalry formed. And up until 2014, TNA had been number 2 until Ring of Honor overtook them in that aspect. And that ended in 2019 when Ring of Honor started losing most of their stars because of AEW. But again, this is historic news. This is a match to look forward to. Chris Sabin is a high flyer. He's a former X Division champion, but the man can go. He can grapple with the best of them. You don't believe me? Hop on Impact Plus and watch his match with Josh Alexander for the X Division Championship at Victory Road. And I think that is a taste of what we might see at Hard to Kill in his match against Jonathan Gresham for the Ring of Honor World Title. And Impact Wrestling has been doing a great job of giving the fans, their fans, and other wrestling fans out there just a taste, just a little sliver of, okay, we've got our show, we've got storylines that we build, but if you don't follow our show on Access TV or on Impact Plus, we got this for you. They did it with Rich Swann versus Moose title unification match. They did it with Swann versus Omega, the AEW World Champion, on an Impact pay-per-view. And now they're doing it with the Ring of Honor World Champion. So, props to Impact Wrestling, props to Scott D'Amore for going through with this and giving Ring of Honor life, giving Ring of Honor Wrestling fans a chance to watch their world champion compete on a high-profile stage like Hard to Kill and Impact Wrestling. Hopefully, down the line, this leads to Jonathan Gresham signing a contract with Impact Wrestling because, like I said in the past, and like it's been reported on wrestling news websites, it doesn't seem like Ring of Honor Wrestling is going to come back in the way it used to be, so they won't be able to retain their stars the way they used to. Now, I would have wanted Gresham and Jay Lethal to show up on Impact Wrestling and be the Impact Wrestling guys, but Jay Lethal decided to go to AEW. Impact Wrestling, please sign Jonathan Gresham. Because what you're going to see at Hard to Kill is just a taste, just a little bit of what Gresham can do for your company as far as the in-ring product is concerned. So with that said, that's it for today's Christmas Eve edition of Wrestling Talk. Go home with your families, You don't have to watch SmackDown. You don't have to watch Rampage. You can watch it on reruns later. Hell, you can watch it on Christmas Day. I mean, what better present for a wrestling fan than to just watch wrestling all day on Christmas? Just spend time with your family. Spend time with your loved ones. Be safe out there. Wear your masks. Get tested. All of that. Stay healthy. And I'll see you next time. I've been Alexis Carrillo. Bye-bye.